So there you go. Canada have done exactly what they needed to do and done so in front of their home fans in Edmonton. 1-0 the final score in that one, thanks to a goal from Jonathan David. Let's talk about that game for a minute then, guys. Kate Abdo with you, by the way, with Oguchi Onyewu, Moadu, Clint Dempsey and Charlie Davies. Thoughts on how Canada performed in that game? They got the 3 points that they absolutely needed to get, but it was a performance that said to you, this is a team that's going to stay right there in the mix?
Yeah, absolutely, because they had to grind it out. I think we all know Costa Rica is a well-organized team. They defend first. They tried to frustrate Canada, but they just kept coming in waves. And Tejan Buchanan with the bicycle kick off the crossbar. But, I mean, you have to admit this Canada team is for real.
I mean, they managed the game. It was going to be difficult. Costa Rica came in needing a result, needing a victory to try to climb up in the pecking order. But they managed the game. They got their score. They got their 3 points, and they're doing what they needed to do to get qualifying.
Sorry, I'm distracted because the final whistle's gone in the U.S. game between U.S. and Mexico. What's the score?
What's that score?
2-0.
Well, that was it.
Be solo, but you know how that sometimes happens.
I was right with you.
I appreciate you, bro.
Nah.
Okay. Anyway, no, that's a massive result. This is two big results today. The Canada game, I think Charlie is right in the sense that it was a difficult game. I think if this is I think teams that we've seen before from Canada, and it's being in that same kind of game where they're a little bit frustrated, they're not getting the ball, it's not bouncing their way, they're not getting the finishing touch, they might not have got that result. They would have probably drawn that game, maybe lost the game, but to have the resilience, to have that confidence, and you see what it does to the table. They stay in that third position and just 1 point off of the U.S. and Mexico, which, I mean, that's a position that they would love to be in, especially facing Mexico in the next match at home. We talked in the pregame about how they went to Azteca and got a result there. They'll be feeling confident getting that result and having guys like Kyle Larin back in the fold as well.
Mexican dominance in Concacaf, is that done now?
I mean, I wouldn't say necessarily that. Huge win for the U.S. today, especially getting the second goal that gave us the goal difference to let us be ahead of them in the table. I thought the first half we looked like we got frustrated. Second half, I thought we created better chances. Super sub. Christian there, getting the goal, Weston with a big goal, but now we got two players missing next game, and it's still an important game to try to get 3 points against Jamaica away.
Yeah, I think the back line, and more specifically the central defenders, really shut down Mexico's front three. They frustrated them. They were able to, unfortunately, Robinson got the red card, so in the next game we're going to have to see Chris Richards or Mark McKenzie come in and fill that space, but I think they did a real good job in the second half.
How do we score our first goal?
It was all in the run to play in the cross.
We got a cross. We got a cross that led to the goal.
We got a cross.
So that was great to see.
Who finished it? That boy Wonder finished it. First touch coming off the bench. And, I mean,
let's talk about Timothy Weah. He had a fantastic game. For me, he was a phenomenal high point the whole game from first half to second.
He was confident going at people.
Exactly.
I agree.
Very dangerous. Helped the team, got that first assist that we needed to unlock the game right there. For me, I think he was one of the men of the match.
I'll also say the midfield bossed it. You talked about it early, Mo. He called Tyler Adams, McKinney, and Musa what they can do, controlling the game, winning the second balls, and then playing to Musa, who could dribble out of pressure and then find the next guy. What they were able to do tonight, this is, for me, the best midfield across CONCACAF.
Listen, we've got a bunch of time, right? So we're still going to talk more about this game between the US and Mexico and wrap up everything that happened in that one for you. But I do just want to bring the highlights in of this Canada-Costa Rica game. 1 goal in it, guys.
That's all it took. And it comes from this is what you want from a striker. You're alert. You're the one that's hungriest in the box when it falls to his feet.
Quick touch.
Exactly. Quick touch, get it out of his feet. And this is a guy who's been prolific for Canada.
And what was good to see is this is how the tables have turned, where Canada's kind of becoming the big dog and having that pressure of having to deal with teams that are sitting back a little bit. They got frustrated in the first half, like you had mentioned, but really showing they're getting a little bit more experience in how they were able to see that game out in the second half, get the goal, get the 3 points, and now they got a huge game against Mexico at home next game.
And no Keylor Navas for Costa Rica.
Mm-hmm. He ain't dropping that.
He's not dropping that.
He's either punching
it. Give credit to Canada. They haven't lost a game in this whole campaign. You know, it's difficult. CONCACAF is difficult playing on the road, even playing at home. You know, and for them, like you said, they're almost like the little brother in CONCACAF. I think they're working their way up that pecking order right now. I wouldn't be surprised if they sneak a number 2 or number 1 spot if the U.S. and Mexico aren't alert in the next game coming up.
Another game that we want to catch you up on was the game between Honduras and Panama, because this was a mad game. So Honduras leading until the 77th minute, and then within 8 minutes, I believe it was, Mo. Panama really turned things around.
They did, and it came from a brilliant. You saw the set piece there. He sneaks it through the wall. Eric Davis there, and I mean, we talked about a little bit before about the importance of this game for both teams. Honduras, if they're going to make some kind of run to climb up the table, they needed to win this game. Do so well to get themselves ahead, 2-0 up, and then just that collapse. And it's, I don't know if you point the finger more at Honduras. Yeah, if you point the finger more at them, or you give credit to Panama for having that something about them to get back into the game.
I think you have to do both. I think you have to give credit to Panama being able to get 3 goals in that short span. But at the same time, that's 2 times now. You've had it all in your hands.
At home.
Winning against the U.S., let it fall through your hands. Winning against Panama, letting it fall through your hands.
At this level, with that score, you have to manage the game.
At the halfway point now, you have a mountain to climb. I mean, a miracle.
Yeah, I mean, if you can't win those kind of games, and this one I think hurts more if you're a Honduras fan, because it was 77th minute when they got that first goal that kind of starts things when you start to believe if you're Panama. But from Honduras, at that point, you're thinking, okay, we kill this game off. If that means you bring on another defender, if that means you start just being defensive-minded first and adopting all those principles.
Parking the bus.
Doing what you need to do. You get the result. Couldn't do it. Not even a draw.
Find a way to win. Yeah. Find a way to get a point. Find a way to get a result. At home, in front of your fans. Understanding that you need this victory. You're already at the bottom of the table. And unfortunately, I thought they were going to be one of these teams that are going to get that
bring it up.
I said it.
We need to go back and see that clip.
Wait, what did Gooch say?
I said that they were going to take in the top 4. They're going to be number 4.
Top 4.
Look, they have players. They
only got 4 points.
Are you surprised at this?
Very surprised.
You're surprised. I'm surprised as well. And I think that they have quality players that have the ability to get up there, but they haven't been performing well as a unit.
All right, listen, we've got loads more to break down for you. We're going to go to a short break. Canada getting a big win for them this evening against Costa Rica. The U.S. getting what feels like an even bigger win against Mexico. We'll break it all down in just a minute. Stay with us.
O'Neal Fisher trying to cut inside. O'Neal Fisher with a sensational finish.
Peppy by name and Peppy by nature.
Davies takes it away. 2v1. Keeps it himself. An individual piece of brilliance. Ball in.
Welcome along. So there you go. A big night coming up for you on Tuesday. We do hope that you'll join us here. We've got a long evening. These are the celebrations, the scenes over there in Cincinnati with the team celebrating a 2-0 win over Mexico. Nothing sweeter than a win over Mexico for the United States as their biggest rivalry in that CONCACAF region. Let's take a look at the highlights of how this one would play out and see some of the action that decided this game.
This was a fun game, and a lot of chances in this game, especially in the first half. Mexico probably had the better of the chances. You see Edson Alvarez with the opportunistic strike there. Zach Steffen, who had a strong game. This is one of the big saves he made in that first half.
Now you hear Chucky Lozano gets through, but Zach Steffen again with a big save to keep them in the game. He was able to split the defense, but Zach came up big to save the day.
Second half, things got interesting. Timothy Weah finding space in behind. It's Weston McKennie who makes a late run into the box, but it's directly at Ochoa, who palms it over for a corner.
And that was a sign of things to come. Timothy Weah was so alert and lively on that right-hand side. This time he tried the shot from distance, and it falls to your boy, Charlie Pepe. You thought he was going to do better with it?
Yeah, it was there. It was there for him.
Here we go, saucing him up. Hit him, what? Oh, get a little separation. Great ball in, great finish. It was actually Christian's first touch of the game. What an important touch it was, and I'm happy to see us doing a little bit better job on crosses.
But I mean, just talk about the pace that he puts on that ball. It makes it so difficult for Ochoa to react. And obviously, you see our reaction. Kate wasn't that.
Yeah, who are you rooting for, Kate?
I have a big smile. I'm applauding. Well, you're right. I'm not extra, if that's what you mean.
Oh, okay.
Oh,
Over
look
here,
at that
the combination, Weston. A little deflection, but a great finish to end this game. 2-0 for USA.
This is just poor defending from Mexico. And you talk about some of their veterans who are missing. You put in 2 new center backs, and they paid the price.
Dang, what spell was that? What's that spell called?
I don't know.
What did Clint say? Espiritu Santo.
I didn't say nothing, bro. Hey, what spell was that?
I don't know, man. Whatever it
Some
was,
Gryffindor?
Weston cast a spell on somebody out there. The boy was out there playing.
Coming into this game, so before kickoff, speaking, Greg Berhalter, I'm just saying words, but not in any particular. Greg Berhalter had said that the US has a long way to go to get the respect of Mexico. That feels misplaced now, does it? 3 wins like that back
In
to back.
5 months.
Yeah, that's hard for Mexico to swallow. 3 defeats in 5 months against their rivals. And this game, I was happy because there was 2 goals in the run of play. Normally, the U.S. has been getting goals on set pieces, dominating in that manner. But today, dominating in the run of play, you can't really say anything on Mexico's side.
Yeah, I to be honest, although I love seeing them score goals in the run of play, I don't take anything from the victories that they got from scoring off the set pieces, because I think there's a beauty and an art and a difficulty in that as well. Today, though, it was
the most dominant performance they've had of the 3 games, in my opinion.
I appreciate the fact that it was a true home game for them, right? That first and foremost, being able to play in front of home fans and have an environment and an atmosphere where they're actually soaking that up. But in the biggest moments, it's the big players that stepped up. It's Christian coming off the bench and scoring that goal. We talk about Timothy Weah getting an opportunity to start in the game that he had, from start to finish, the things that he did on both sides of the ball. And then Weston, we were just talking off camera a little bit, like, what do we think about his performance? He shows up in a moment that kind of solidifies and puts a stamp on this game.
And I'll also throw in all the debate of Zach Steffen, Matt Turner, Zach Steffen. Well, tonight, Greg Berhalter said, Zach Steffen's my guy.
Last home game, too.
Yeah, he's not coming off. If he's healthy, he's going to play. Tonight, he backed it up, and he showed why he's at Manchester City. He might not get all the minutes and game time that you want from your starting goalkeeper, but there's a reason why he's at Manchester City, because he can put in performances like that. And that is why he's your number one. For a player like Matt Turner, as great as he's been, now he knows if he wants to get to this spot, you got to move to a bigger club. I think that's what ends up happening, because Zach Steffen's
That's mad, is it? You've got
so
to make
great.
a move where you potentially lose out on regular playing time?
Well, he can still go to a bigger club and still play every week. If a club has to come in to buy him.
But if you're Matt Turner looking at this situation, do you not look at how he had performed up until this point and think, what did I do to deserve to be dropped?
Well, I think it goes back
That's a good
to
point, Kate.
the
thanks,
club.
Clint.
I think it goes back to the level that you're playing. So when Zach Steffen left
Zach
MLS,
Steffen's
Zach isn't
not
playing.
playing.
He's played four
but he's
four
at
games.
Manchester City
But you said
because for a
play. You
reason.
said play, not training.
The big decision was starting Zach at home against Costa Rica, got the result, and then again, starting him again tonight against Mexico, got a huge result. And I agree with you, Kate. It wasn't like Turner really did anything to not start. The team just didn't play necessarily that well away from home against Panama.
Do they play differently with Zach Steffen in goal? Does it impact the style of play in any way, the way they play out in the back, the way they move the ball?
I don't know if they play differently, but obviously Zach is more comfortable with the ball at his feet in terms of building out. That's more of Berhalter's style of play from the defense.
But you saw in the Jamaica game at home.
I'm not taking
how well
I'm not taking any away.
We had a piece we were talking about.
Not taking anything away from
Yeah.
them. I'm just saying, if you compare the two, Zach is much more comfortable with the ball at his feet. Turner has done a lot of work to get to where he is right now, but Zach is more comfortable with the
Tell me you agree with me, though. It's the club, you're playing at Manchester City. Maybe you're not playing, but you're at Manchester City. Obviously, he's been with Greg Berhalter in MLS with Columbus Crew. There's that relationship. Then he makes that move overseas, and when he's played, he's done well. Now he's not playing because he's behind one of the best goalkeepers in the world in Ederson. But because he's still there, he's training at the highest level, and Greg Berhalter said, that's my guy. So I think for Matt Turner, as unfair as it is, because he's been a standout in both MLS and with the national team, the only way he's going to continue to progress, I think, at this point, is making that move overseas to the right club.
But do you think if there's a situation where we have a 3-game window again, do you think they make a rotation?
I think that might happen. I mean, it's an
Is that
interesting
something you
one.
want to do with the keeper position, though?
I don't.
That's what they've kind of been doing. But I agree with you.
I mean,
you want consistency.
At this point, we can agree that either decision, we're winning.
That's what I was going to say.
We have two number one goalkeepers, and that's a good problem to have for any coach.
I think Greg has shown that he trusts both keepers, right? He gave Matt Turner a run, and to your point, he did nothing wrong. I mean, he saved them in so many games and posted great numbers in terms of saves, in terms of clean sheets, et cetera, et cetera. I think there was always that point in time where we thought Zach was going to get another chance, right? He's going to get an opportunity because he's a player that he's shown over time that Greg can trust, and Greg believes in him. Greg knows what he can do, what he brings to this team, and now he's in a situation again, Greg, where Zach has shown up. He's shown well. So now are you going to rotate him again? Or are you going to keep him? I think you keep him. It's a two-game window.
There's no rotation.
Him now.
There's no rotation.
And then the next window approaches, and what happens?
I got a question for y'all. Who are the two people that come in now to replace the McKinney and Robertson that are not playing next game?
Yeah, I think in midfield, it's more than likely, I would think Kellen Acosta comes into midfield. Center back's an interesting one because we saw Chris Richard get his first minutes in the last window, and some good moments, some moments that show that he hasn't played with this team, hasn't had a lot of experience with this team, with this group yet. I think that might be an interesting one to slot him in there, although Mark McKenzie is another player who's had some minutes with the national team already. So I would probably maybe lean towards a Chris Richards just because he played in that last window.
Do you think that there'll be any more rotation? Like, for example, look at Brendan's performance today. It wasn't his best game. Do you think an Areola comes in, or do you think you say, all right, we go with the kind of the strongest guys we have again, we believe in that, and then we make subs later? Do you think there'll be any rotations here, or do you think you just put your strongest lineup out for this next game from the start?
Strongest lineup.
I think you have to
strongest
put your strongest
lineup. You don't gamble. You just did so well to get this performance against Mexico, get this result against Mexico. We've seen that rotation hasn't always fared so well with this team, and this is a two-game window this time, right? So tired legs, not as big of a concern. I think just the one area that I'm looking at is what he does with Christian. Does he bring him off the bench again? Does he give him a start this time and bring him off with, like, I don't know, you talk about 68th minute in that time frame or whatever, but I think everything else is you go with your strongest 11.
There's one other thing I want to talk about from this game as well. Luis Rodriguez, because we haven't had a chance to discuss that, with an obnoxious foul on Aronson, right? Kind of gets his hand in front of his face,
a little
into his
bit more
nostrils.
than a foul.
Put the claw move on him.
Yes, he did. Got a yellow card for it, right? But should it have been more, I think is the question. So let's bring in Christina Uncle, who's our FIFA rules expert. Christina, your opinion, should it have been more, yes or no?
Yes, it definitely should have been more. I mean, the yellow card itself was for that foul. However, if he, and El Salvadorian referee, Ivan Barton, did a really good job of getting himself involved here to try to separate the players. However, being so close and on top of that play, you miss that actual action of, I think, Clint hit it right? It's a claw. It's effectively taking that arm and making that movement to effectively impact the eye. Sensitive part. Should VAR have actually been here in this game, that would have been a recommendation from the VAR for a red card for violent conduct on that play against Rodriguez.
Christina, could there later be some sanctions against him after review of the replay of the play?
Retroactive?
Without the VAR, just in terms of review afterwards?
Yeah, so we're so used to this right here in Major League Soccer and other tournaments and leagues, et cetera, where there's post sanctions for it. That's all going to fall down to Concacaf and whether or not they want to review this and give those sanctions. It is in the parameters for them to be able to go ahead and do post-game sanctions for something that the referee could not see, let alone the referee team collectively could not see. So it is in the prerogative to do so, but that would rely on Concacaf to make that determination. Was it egregious enough for them to give those sanctions for it?
Any other questions, or we're all on the same
Christina's
page?
spot on. Hey, she's thorough.
I honestly think that if that call went a little differently, that would have been a red card for Mexico. That might have changed the whole makeup of that second half.
Can you imagine if I was in that situation with how big my eyes were? I couldn't see for a week.
Yeah, but your eyes would have fought back.
I think the guys hit it on right, though. I mean, that happened in the 67th minute, right? The score is 0-0 at that point. You're going to have a red card. You're going to be down. I know ultimately at the end of the game, it was a 2-0 result, but that's going to change the game. And I know that, they were pushing for try to get VAR certified for these matches for the November. Hopefully, fingers crossed, we will get it in January, because trust me, the CONCACAF referee team is all trained and they're ready to go with VAR. It's just certifying these stadiums, and it's not as simple as just throwing throwing up some cameras and saying we're good to go. There needs to be calibration, sync with the actual technology, and certification from VAR. So our hopes that is there in January, so we don't have these types of plays happen in the next round of qualifiers.
Christina, because I thought it was confirmed that we were going to have it from January. Now you're saying, well, kind of maybe, but we don't exactly know.
It should be confirmed. Like, I always kind of hold my tongue, right? I always say until the chicken hatches and walks around for 3 days in Concacaf, don't put
Are you saying that you don't
basket.
trust Concacaf?
I'm saying that things can happen that are outside the control.
Okay.
What I'm saying is a day late and a dollar short. What about all the other stuff that's been missed? And then now we're going to put it
But everybody's been in the same situation, right? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I know what you're saying, but still, it's like,
I'm not saying it's right.
in a competition, you're going to say, okay, now we're going to put something in. Like, you start it from the beginning and you see it all the way out. I agree that it's going to help the teams kind of moving forward, but it's just weird.
Christina, was it a conversation to have it ready for the start of qualifying, and why wasn't it ready?
Yeah, so it should have been part of a conversation. I think there is a couple of different factors that go into it, not only from the different departments who have to ensure that it's ready, right? You saw that statement and that press release that CONCACAF stated that, FIFA didn't certify their stadiums within the time of September, but respectfully, it is also still CONCACAF's responsibility to ensure that the stadiums are qualified, that they have the right security, and that they're calibrated to that extent. So it was definitely a timing element. It requires more than an afterthought of a week within saying, hey, by the way, we need to get a stadium certified, right? This is a process that takes a couple of not only months, because you actually have to have games actively played in those stadiums before you can certify a stadium. So I think now they finally got their act together. Little pieces of the puzzle have fallen together. And so I think that's why they can certify that in January. They should have VAR in place.
Christina, who's the gentleman sitting down over your shoulder? I'm just interested.
It's our friend here with Leeds, right? We got Marcelo hanging out next to me.
Oh, it's Marcelo. Okay, nice.
Yeah.
What, is he one of your favorite coaches? Why him?
Yeah, no, really good friend of mine over there from England, huge Leeds fan, Marcelo fan, and decided to give him for me to hang on my right-hand side here.
Good stuff. I'm also going to wager a bet that you have never read one of those books that is over your right-hand shoulder down on the bottom looking fancy.
Actually, I have read all of them. They are classic. Yeah, and they're handed to my mother-in-law.
Show me the money, Kate.
And I have the books on my left-hand side, too. And on the left-hand side.
Clap back.
All those Fendi bags.
No, because they look like old, very serious books.
They're vintage. They are vintage.
Leather-bound books.
Okay, good for you, Christina. All right, listen, it's always good to see you. Hopefully we will see you again soon, maybe Tuesday if there's anything to talk about then.
Yeah, great to see y'all.
All right.
Talk about a clapback.
That's fine. That's what we're all here for. So, final thoughts from you lot. What should we talk about this? We've done Zach Steffen. We've done that incident.
I want to talk about something.
Go ahead.
Mexico's situation now. They have 2 games that they had to play away from home. They've lost the first one now. Now they got to go to Canada, play on turf, and see what happens there. I mean, it could cause a situation where the team starts to lose confidence if they don't get the right result, and can cause pressure to mount for them.
How much pressure is already on Tata Martino after the 2 losses over the summer in those tournaments, and now this? I mean, this really, I know those are trophies, but this matters more, doesn't it?
It matters the most. You talk to U.S. players, U.S. players who won. You talk to Tyler Adams, and he said that exactly, that, we won those trophies. That was great, but this is what really matters. You're playing for a chance to go to the World Cup. To Clint's point, you start looking at the table now. If Canada wins that game, they're leapfrogging Mexico as well. So Mexico goes from entering this window top, feeling good, looking forward to playing the U.S. and trying to get a result there, to now it's like, I don't know. Things could turn dark pretty quickly.
Yeah, 2 or 3 games go the wrong way. Panic button. You're going to be in the same situation. It can happen to anybody. You got to be prepared. It's a roller coaster.
I thought you were going to say something. You're just smiling at me.
Charlie, what you going to say?
No, I agree with both of you.
Oh, hey, you agree with that.
You guys are spot on. I think this Mexican side is going the wrong direction. You have injuries. I think the midfield with Andres Guardado, he's not in the field now, and he was the leader. He's lost his legs. That midfield doesn't look like anything to me. You have Edson Alvarez, who's good usually at breaking up plays. He would drop back as a center back when they're in possession sometimes. That would leave a hole. Today he was higher up the field, but Luis Romo didn't really do anything. Hector Herrera had his moments, but for the most part, not effective. So this, for me, the Mexican team was always centered around that midfield, and then they were able to find Chucky Lozano in space and Tata and Tecatito. We didn't see enough of that. So now this Mexican side, they don't have that fear factor anymore. And clearly the Americans say, hey, we got them.
And I feel like, sorry, Gooch, but I feel like, to your point about that fear factor, Canada has no fear of right now anybody in CONCACAF, right? They've gone to the U.S., they came to the U.S., got a result, they got a draw. They went to Azteca, and maybe should have got more out of that game the way that they played it in certain moments. So coming home, we were just watching that game, and the field doesn't look ideal for much, if I'm being honest with you. And so that'll be.
How much you hate that as a player?
Not even for
my
indoor
body
soccer.
hates that. Back, knees.
You feel that?
Everything.
Yeah, for sure. That turf looked like it was matted
turf.
down. That was Detroit Lions, Barry Sanders turf.
But all that plays into this is a Canadian side. I mean, we've seen how dynamic, and we've talked about it over and over and over again about how dynamic they are, their front three. And Mexico having to come and play on that surface, play against a team that doesn't fear them. When they start making that game open, when the game gets stretched a little bit. Big game for Mexico.
Good news is we've got hours to talk about it all on Tuesday. We'll be back then. It's been fun this evening. Thank you all. Thank you guys for watching as well. Just a reminder for you as well that this was actually the halfway point. Concacaf World Cup Qualifying reaching its midpoint this evening with big wins for Canada, for Panama and the United States with another 2-0 victory over Mexico. And the journey to Qatar 22 continues on Tuesday. You can join us for an absolutely massive live doubleheader here on Paramount, plus the United States traveling to Jamaica. Then it is Canada, Mexico. Our coverage begins at 4:30 p.m. We'll be with you throughout the entire evening. Please do join us for that. We look forward to seeing you then. Until then, from myself, from Gooch, from Mo, from Clint, from Charlie, good night. See you later.